Not a very long break, back in the action pretty quickly, and then this is the last game of the night. We had a couple one-sided affairs, 7-3, 7-4, but this one is shaping up to be a match of the ages. We got Vipers versus S2, Mason.
I'm excited. Both these teams 1-0 coming off of wins. S2, more notably, coming off of their win versus Parabellum, and really piggybacked off of Reverse, who actually rescheduled one of his labs. He wanted us to mention something. I was going to anyway because I think it's hilarious that he went and was like, messaged his professor, hey, can we reschedule this? I'm playing in SCS, a big tournament. A lot of big things. I mean, hey, people will move mountains to come play in SCS. So Reverse, I'm excited to see you play in this, my friend. I also get to play him in collegiate as well. So it's exciting to see a player like Reverse go through. But here they are, S2.
I mean, you've got AMP, Biologic, BJL, the name everybody was talking about last week, or a couple days ago, Reverse, and Wi-Fi. I mean, their game up against Parabellum, maybe Wichita Wolves beats them out of upset of the round, but I don't think anybody was really expecting the S2 Parabellum. You're not included in predictions, but overall, the consensus S2 just kind of comes out and takes Parabellum all the way, and a pretty definitive with 7-3 scoreline at that.
That's exactly what we saw on Oregon just a moment ago, where the 3-3 half, and then all of a sudden, they started running away with it. Once they got to that defensive side, S2 completely obliterated Vipers. And Vipers, Parabellum. Parabellum, though, they struggled so much on their attacks. They've never, their newer roster being unveiled, really big struggles coming from them. And that's something that they have to fix going forward into SCS. But highlighting S2 Reverse really taking advantage of a lot of those qualms and struggles that came out of Parabellum. I mean, look at this highlight from yesterday. 18-9, a 2.0 KD, nearly dropping 20 kills, and an absolute impact player when his gun is hot in the lobby.
Yeah, but I mean, expecting him to go nuclear like he did in the last one, you got to temper your expectations there. But here's something about S2, is that even if Reverse even if he doesn't have that dog in him, somebody else might pick up the torch. I mean, you've got Biologic, who on days can be pretty scary. You've got AMP, you've got all of these other players on S2 that are mechanically gifted, individually skilled, that you can rely on them. And when they come together as a unit, they can be a pretty terrifying team to really go up against.
Well, I guess we'll see what happens here. Biologic, obviously, coming from Pro League and Challenger League, there's a lot of knowledge to instill onto the young players. And in his interview with Harrison, he talked about slowing down the game, making sure they're not going too fast, and trying to make sure they capitalize on as much as they can. On the other end, though, our opponents are Vipers. They placed second in SFCL Season 5 just a season ago, in the most recent event that they participated in. And this roster, pretty damn good team. They beat Collegiate Connoisseurs 7-4 on Border, but that's not a match you can really take away with confidence in Vipers.
Yeah, Collegiate Connoisseurs was another one of those teams that might have got an easier closed qual group. They made it through, but Vipers are a team to watch. I mean, you've got Creators, Maxily, Poison, Twist, and Drix, a new pickup that last match probably didn't perform as much as they wanted him to, but overall, Vipers as a team really took care of Collegiate Connoisseurs. And this is a team that really does rely on their fraggers, like Creators, like Maxily. They take these one-on-one engagements and just absolutely go hog wild with it. Here is Maxily, that KD, he's got 14.6. He led the way for Vipers, but I do want to note one thing, Mason, is that a lot of times these players led the way on the defense. On the attack, they immensely struggle.
Definitely. Vipers is a team that we really do question their attacks. They're not incredible. They've always struggled, and they were hoping with their most recent pickup, Drix's, to kind of help change that. We didn't see too much of that yesterday in their match against the Collegiate Connoisseurs, but hopefully a bounce back game for them today. That's the goal for this one. If you struggled yesterday, hey, guess what? Now you've got the shakes out of the way. Now you're a little bit less nervous. You've got one match of SCS under your belt. You're on a Challenger League roster, and we're looking to see if Drix's will be that bounce back player and try to help Vipers shape out some more of these attacks.
Yeah, and looking over the map, Vito, this could be pretty important as to kind of how these teams want to play, but immediately, Clubhouse, Oregon, those default style maps, gone off the board. We're getting something maybe different, because you know what's still here? Villa. I'm counting Villa in as like a small team member as a part of that.
That may just be the case. Still remaining on the board is Villa, and I'm kind of shocked to see Clubhouse and Oregon go away immediately from both of these rosters. I almost expected to go to one of those maps, but instead, we might be seeing something more creative. Maybe Vipers want to go back to Border, because who knows, right? Where is that place going to be? There's some thought on them on Border, but Villa is the home. V, you are correct, and to Villa we will go, a map that many teams understand, more default, more typical, and here we are.
Yeah, going to, I mean, you mentioned SFCL. We saw Vipers play on Villa a couple times, and unfortunately we didn't get to see Villa in the grand finals of that, but going up against S2, you can expect that both of these teams are prepared for that. But one more thing that I think could be a story of how this match is going to go is that with Vipers having a lackluster attack, they're starting on the attack. S2 could really get a big lead, but they could also get a little bit too much confidence. They start to peak probably angles they shouldn't, and then Vipers immediately start coming back, because that's the thing that they love. They love taking these one-on-one engagements where the other team doesn't exactly have the advantage. So S2 need to make sure that they're being cautious.
That's where the leadership of Bio is going to have to come through for them. But here are the predictions. Very split. This is one of the first matches that have heavily split predictions amongst all of the staff and casters here for SCS. Me and you split different. You think Vipers are going to win. I think S2 are going to win, but we'll have to settle it out on the battlefield. You and I have had our differences on teams before. I'm 1-0 against you, so it's your turn to step it up.
All right. Calm down there. Calm down there. You're only like 1-2 picks away from me, but yeah, it is
82%, 73%. That's all I'm saying.
Calm down your ego there. Your forehead cannot get any bigger. Your head cannot get any bigger there.
There's territory there, but that's okay. But yeah, I mean, Villa being this map, and kind of like what you were saying a little bit, V, is S2. I think that if they win too many rounds early on, it might actually be a detriment to them, because they're a younger team. They like to be aggressive. They like to play fast. And that's where Bio's experience is really going to have to go in, hold their horses, try to reel them back in. And maybe that'll slow them down, put them maybe within more of a reach and grasp against Vipers. But Vipers being one of those teams that, again, succeeds so much on those one-on-one engagements. Maxillion creators really leading that charge twist to close it out in the back. All gunners throughout that roster. And if Drix's wakes up, it could spell disaster for S2.
Yeah, it could, but I mean, it is that first half is really going to be a big decider. How much does S2 get is kind of the question here. Can Vipers survive, maybe get a 3-3, and then when we start to swap sides, that's when they can start to get their lead. I mean, we can speculate all we want, but we do eventually have to get into the game, figure out who's actually going to be the true champion of today, because whoever wins this goes on to 2-0, but that's going to be a scary in of its own. You might have to play Astralis, you might have to play Oxygen. I think, have we had any teams actually move on to 2-0?
If you're 2-0, yeah, you're going to be playing a damn good roster, regardless.
Or any of the earlier games.
If I go look at the results, I don't think we have a 2-0 team yet. I could be wrong, but Aerial Rise Academy played earlier. They lost, and so did Lycus Empire, so they both are lost. So Lycus has moved down to 0-2, and then Aerial Rise ACAD, they went to 1-1. Investigation File, I don't believe they won their match. And Six Karma didn't win their match against Astralis, so no. So neither of these teams, or no team so far, is 2-0. Vipers or S2, both looking to be the first to do it, and that's going to be decided here on Villa, our battleground here for both of these rosters. And V, you think Vipers, I think S2. You want to change your mind?
Nope. I'm staying with my group, I've seen a lot of Vipers recently. I think I did get to cast a little bit in quals, but clearly Twitter is not on my side. 66 to 34. It's about far enough away that there is a clear one-sided affair in that Twitter poll, but we'll have to see if Vipers can overcome that. I mean, Parabellum, when S2 won, I believe it was 88% to 11%. So, Twitter isn't everything.
Well, was S2's win a fluke, or was Parabellum just kind of dreadful? And I really think that a lot of it was bad, just bad play overall from Parabellum. And I hate to harp on them being a professional team, but for S2 to go through and it kind of be a game of mistakes, S2 just made less and capitalized on more, and that's why Parabellum fell short. S2 almost looked, I want to say, falsely dominant in that matchup, and I don't know if that'll prove to be the same here, but there's only one way to settle it out and figure that out. Dokkaebi and Flores off the board, Azami as well falling, so you won't be able to hold into study as easily by patching up that desk. A lot of players will patch up the desk, maybe even reinforce the hatch instead of study in a smoke ban.
Is that what it's gonna be? It is a smoke ban from S2. That is a real curveball out of left field. So we've got a different game than normal Mason. This should be exciting because that might change how teams have to kind of adapt. I mean, AVG, we're seeing Wi-Fi step onto the Tachanka because that's what they need. You need some form of plant denial because you can't just simply smoke off that main default plant spot.
We'll have to see, but Wi-Fi bringing out the Tachanka. That's going to be the adaptation. I'm curious for why, but no. Rubber band. So we'll go to a rehost, and hey, no better place to do it than round one. And we'll send it off to a break. We'll get everyone back on into the lobby, and then we'll be able to babble on a little bit more.
On a double though, and he finds the third through the post. Just enough. Getting it to 3K with an ult. With 3 seconds left, Flame lands the pre-fire. Nobody can kill him in time. He clutches it out. What a play from the alibi as the lobby player goes unchecked.
have returned from the fabled rehost break. Luckily, wasn't too long. We all like a nice little short rehost as much as we need them. So we get to start it all off. We've kind of talked a little bit about the operators in play. Tachanka got mentioned as like that smoke substitute, but we just kind of skipped over it a little bit.
Well, hopefully we'll be able to play out this round, and no one will be stuttering around just as Drix was. But Wi-Fi on that Tachanka, just as you said, Light Rose. You're able to bounce those Shumika launcher, fire bolts really anywhere. There's good range to it, but the one detriment to why smoke is usually brought over Tachanka is Tachanka's gadget is a weapon. You got to pull out that launcher, and that means that there's time to switch in between the launcher and the weapon. Versus smoke, you just pull it out, you chuck it real quick, and it's done and dealt with. And well, the Wi-Fi, the Tachanka, it'll be a little bit less effective and impactful. However, you get arguably a better weapon in the long-range LMG. Not a lot of recoil behind it, and you can make plenty of floor vertical destruction, just as you see now.
I mean, that floor destruction is pretty important on this site because you can basically deny that stairs area, and it's really hard for the attack to actually fire back at you because it's just such a thin little area. They might not expect it. We're gonna have to see what the attack is actually centralizing towards. They're going towards this kind of southern stairs, the main stairs, but the fact that they're already in the building is pretty good for Vipers because one of the detriments of their attack is they can take a really long time. The time just gets absolutely wasted away, and then they have like 20 seconds to somehow force themselves into the site and get a victory. That's why a lot of times they struggle on the attack.
Hopefully they'll be able to leverage off of the Monty being brought out by Poison. That might be able to allow them to bully their way into the positions they want to fight for a little bit easier. Some burn to go through, and then a nade will get soaked up by the Wamai disc thrown out by Amp, who continues to hold on to the main series. But here's the presence of the Tachanka making their way up, and a couple of firebolts will be shot here at Poison to slow down his roll, and it's already a pretty good waste of utility coming here from Vipers. They've soaked up a lot of those Shumika launcher bolts. Only 6 remain in the pocket and hands of Wi-Fi.
I mean, that's 5 now. If you want to use those for plant denial, that's 4. Is Wi-Fi going to use every single Shumika launcher to just keep Poison away from bookshelf for like 20 to 30 seconds? We still have half the round to play, and a lot of the plant denial is kind of been dripped away. Vipers are going pretty quickly. BJL is going to find that first frag of the map, but Twist is right back there with that refrag onto BJL. So Vipers Esports, they're going to have to find a way into the site. Maybe they take care of the player in 90. Maybe they just find a frag from underneath. The creators cannot time that enough, but I think Vipers need one more before they truly hit the go button.
Well, Drix's struggles continuing to show, not a kill there, and at least in the first round here, but still 40 seconds remain, and the time for the execute aplenty for Vipers. You've got the player on the 90 repel. It's actually the Nook, Maxilli, hanging out here, waiting for Bio to peek around the corner and potentially expose themselves, but Bio is very well aware of the positioning and will hesitate to give away their life. More Shumika launcher going through, and Poison will take a healthy amount of damage as they made their way on in, but 20 seconds left, and the Monty still stays up.
Oh, and Vipers need to start now. Like, yeah, the yellow pings do not kill Poison. Eventually, someone is going to have to die. He unshields. There goes one. Another one falls. So Maxley has to get a 1v3 in not a lot of time, Mason. So S2, they get a good defensive start. And now we can see really why in action Vipers struggle a little bit on their attack.
It just slowed. I mean, they had the control of the main series. They got up, but once they got there, they didn't really do anything with it. The Tachanka slowed them down maybe a little bit, but in reality, Wi-Fi didn't do anything super impactful with the Shumika in the round until the very end when they tried to go for this execute, and Poison was actually stuck on the wall trying to get through the rotate, took a healthy amount of damage from the Shumika, put on 1 HP, and when you try to de-shield as the Monty, you expose part of yourself. When you're out of that extended shield position, you're going to expose part of your body, and it was definitely not the play to get out of the extended shield and try to take the fight with the Tachanka. There's no reason for Poison to do that. At that point, he just needs to be a distraction. I think so, but in reality, someone needs to walk in there and be able to help out Poison, because he's a dead man. He's a dead man. Like, you're not winning that. If you have extra HP to kind of go around, you can take a little bit of damage and be able to get away with that. But when you're on 1 HP and anything that touches you is going to kill you, you don't have that luxury of being able to play around like that.
I mean, that's kind of the faults of Monty, is that he's a difficult character to play because you are a living drone, but you can essentially take a gun away from one of the players on the lineup. So when you're in that situation, you can help out, but then that severely exposes you. You only have a pistol. You have to weigh a lot of pros and cons. Vipers, they're not going to bring the Monty. I think that is a smart decision, because now we're going over to that trophy side. You're not going to get much usage out of the Monty. It didn't really actually do much for Vipers between set themselves up for the execution that never truly came. So now, instead of getting to the site, it's more going to be about hunting down the roamers that Vipers need to be pretty pristine at if they want to notch some attacking rounds.
Someone who's made their way through the ban phase that we don't often see in any stage of Siege anymore is Nook. Her presence will be plentiful in this match for sure with Reverse, I believe. I think enjoys playing Nook very much, but Maxilli for sure will love that and probably thrive and strive off of those one-on-one engagements. It's something that we highlighted earlier, and those 1v1s are very big for Vipers. If they can get those and get the opening pick, they will end up performing beautifully in this matchup. But if they can, if Maxilli Guns stays cold and the rest of the team cannot back up and support them, then things won't be so great here for Vipers.
I mean, that is one thing that Vipers have. If their fraggers are cold, if Creators and Maxley just aren't on their groove tonight, it kind of leaves the rest of Vipers sputtering. I don't think they're on the level of S2, in which everybody has their own mechanical skill power. Everybody in Vipers is skilled. I mean, Mr. Poison is a good IGL, but you still kind of lack a little bit of that gun skill that S2 might have overall. The first damage is actually going to be done to Poison, that IGL, as he's just going to back off, drone away. Viper's still looking for some sort of entry. As we're entering the final third of the round, it's just seeming like it's this kind of same thing over and over again. A great play from Maxley underneath to take out the one player hiding in Astro, but it's not going to come without a fault. There goes your Habana. So really, these main doors are going to be your only entries inside of the site, and Vipers need to find a way to actually come back, and losing Creators, almost losing Maxley, isn't really going to be a remedy from that. I think Maxley going down, Drix and Poison are really going to need to put this entire round on their back if they want to walk away with it.
And trying to make their way up through Astro. Here comes the attackers, Drix and Poison. But Poison will recycle back through the bathroom and try to take the peak. Reverse standing in a spot that's not too predictable. BGL to close out the round on the Drix rather. And Vipers 0 for 2 on their attacks. S2 starting off hot, and again, something we talk about a lot. Vipers attacks, they're very slow, they're stagnant. They get into the position where their great progress had been made. They got the opening pick. That's when they need to hit the site. They just need to go. But they're just not confident. They wait so long to go hit the site when they're ready with a minute 20 seconds left, but they don't go. And I don't know why that's the case. I don't know if they're just not confident in the information that they have on the bomb site, or if it's an IGL call. I'm not sure what Mr. P Poison is, deciding they're in those rounds, but that's the biggest issue for Vipers. And if they continue to struggle on the attack, I don't think they're going to be able to come out on top against S2.
I mean, that is one thing that you and I were talking about before the game. It's like, why do Vipers struggle so much on the attack? They have everything they need. They've got an IGL, they've got the fraggers, they've got the utility play. It just seems like they can't kind of mold all that together into victories. They can on the defense, but right now they're on the attack, and so far they have yet to win a round. If you put S2 up 5-1, 6-0, it doesn't matter how good you are on defense, you are really putting yourself in an unfavorable position and severely mounting pressure on your back that you shouldn't have from the beginning, considering the caliber of team you are.
We've got the Lego pieces, just not the instruction manual to be able to do something with them. And trying to use their own creative intuition will reverse. We'll kick it off, bringing down Poison, the Ying, to fall on this execute. And any sort of big brain, fast take, or coordinated execute Vipers is going to try it. Virtually, that chance is eliminated. You have flashbangs still, but those smokes and Candelas no longer on the board. That makes things significantly more difficult when it comes to the late round play.
Spotting all of those gadgets, that's the plus of the IQ. Wi-Fi gets caught out by Twist, as that is an opener that Vipers could use. Bio gets shut down, and if Reverse falls, this could be the opener that Vipers need to finally claim a round. With BJL over by the stairs, the C4 is just far enough away from a player to not even do any little bit of damage. Another player on S2 goes down, and Drix just survives that C4. I think just the geometry favored him in the end there. This has to be a round for Vipers to take place. If they are up 4-2, they have a minute and 30 left on the clock. They cannot blow something of this caliber. Like, please, Vipers.
We'll see what happens. I'm not sure why Twist made that errant play to just walk on in, ended up losing their life, and that's a little bit of a toss. Amp still, though, the only player inside the bomb site creators and Drix now to follow is Maxilli has found their way deep here, trying to hold on to control. Will bring down one, but it's Reverse now to try to bring down these last two attackers. Coverage is there, but Reverse will bring down Drix as well, so it's a 3K on the round. Maxilli trying to clutch it out for their team. Net Vipers, their first round. Reverse trying to not let that happen. The superstar from the matchup yesterday against Parabellum trying to make things happen yet again. The information may be there. There should be cams at the bomb. Reverse will get the clutch and bring down Maxilli. A 1v3 effort by Reverse, continuing to be one of the best players so far throughout this first couple days of SCS, and Reverse showing off.
If you can't win that, what can you win? 4v2.
Wow.
Half the round left. And yet still Vipers cannot cling together any coordinated attack. It's frustrating. It's a little frustrating, Mason, to see this team and then just kind of see them flail on the attack. It's reminiscent of EQV4 last map. Like, that's kind of what it feels like, comparable. Like, Vipers can get it together maybe at the beginning. That is where they're a little bit separate from EQ. But when it comes to actually putting together a coordinated attack, they're, in my eyes, they look the same.
I don't think Reverse would have been able to 1v4 anyone at the lab, the school lab that he was supposed to attend. So he's cooking up something here, though. On Villa, I mean, 6-0 yet to fall for their team. The clutch gene there for ST. Reverse continuing to show how damn good of a player he is here in SCS. And Vipers very quiet right now on their attacks. Poison, the captain, IGL, 0-3 to net and start off here in this matchup. But things could turn around. Definitely could be some changes, but I just don't know. Vipers have struggled so much on their attack, but this is the caution, the caveat to S2. Don't get too confident. Don't get too cocky, because Vipers will begin to start punishing you guys.
Now, this could be the hubris that we mentioned. It's kind of the turning point. S2 have created that cycle, and now they get to go back to AVG. They get to go back to Trophy, all the sites that they won previously. A great shot by Bio puts Maxilli in the dirt, and now Vipers have one less player to try to deal with these roamers, and it just seems like it's another round in which Vipers may try, but S2 are just going to continue to dominate over this team. They're failing to deal with Bio. Does anybody have eyes on Reverse? There it is. He's his first death. Twist gets one, and makes it over. Mason Habana runs out of ammo, small mag on that Type 89. So Viper's able to claim one, barely miss another, but it's still not enough in my eyes.
Little mags, little problems, and S2 potentially overstaying their welcome just a little bit too much over there on the trophy and statuary side of the map. But they've recalled the troops, and the rotation has come through, so they've left in an even trade. But I would argue that the kill on Reverse may be actually better for Vipers, although Maxilli has fallen. It's a set of nades down and the gun of Max being one of the hotter players here for Vipers. So that'll fall on the rest of the roster to try to step up. Drix so far looking better than they fared yesterday in their matchup against Collegiate Connoisseur. So maybe he will be the name to have a major impact on this round.
And Drix just putting one on the scoreboard for Vipers. They have yet to really deal with the roamers. I mean, you have Bio all the way over in Kitchen. Twist just rolling on by, seeing Amp's body. It's gonna mean that those X-Kairos are gonna fall down, but honestly, your body is more important in this situation. If Amp can fall, that should be enough for Vipers to rush on into the site. But then again, they had a 4v2 in the last run. It's a 4v3. It's less favorable of a position, but they're gonna need to walk away with it. Wi-Fi has the spot of the Shumika launcher to cover default. He has 10 rounds left to use. He can just waste as much time as he wants. Unless he's cleared out of vault, he's just going to be able to keep using that. It's a 1v3, so only the Tachanka left in the vault, and finally, Vipers get one on the board, and it's a round that still seemed unfavorable to them, but in the end, it's still a round win.
It was an excellent call to call the rotation over into the game, or into the 90 hallway rather. Go through books and find yourself into bar to try to get that plant down. Poison fell, but the easy refrag there for the Zofia, and things looking on the up for Vipers, at least for that round. A much better attack, all cleanly dealing with the roam and eventually finding themselves to get this execute down and underway. A lot of that came off of the study balcony pressure that Twist applied. I think that forcing the player out of maps really caused a problem, and it made S2 worry about that vault plant, but they still had the Tachanka being able to cover that. If the Wamai could have gotten back up the main stairs, they might have been able to help stop that 90 push, but things didn't fare too well, and Vipers taking their first attacking round.
It's gonna need to happen again. I think 4-2 is the time where it's not ideal, but it's enough for Vipers' attack. It's still possible for a 3-3. I don't see that happening. And if S2 allows that, that suddenly looks bad on them, because Vipers, once they go on their defense, I am expecting them to kind of hit their stride and get going. But it's really just about surviving right now, Mason.
Well, see, I like Reverse's tactic of throwing those thorn gadgets onto the pillars there of the study balcony. Not only will it give information and alert to S2 if they're across the map or something, if Reverse does a little bit of damage, maybe even gets lucky and gets a kill, but a lot of that is just late round information, seeing if any of the Vipers players may come around to that side of the map later on in this execute. But so far, a very direct based focused attack here from Vipers. You see them all here on the master balcony trying to fight their way right on into the bedroom and potentially right into the bomb site.
So taking their time, droning on out. As you do see Amp and Bio covering in Astro. Bio last time did get a wonderful kill all the way from Astro into bathroom. He's going to push up, just kind of hide in this corner, maybe hoping that somebody will hop through the window. He'll get a free kill. That seems to be the goal of all of S2. They're really spreading themselves out on this top floor, all around the map, honestly. So we'll see if they can get a first kill. If they do, that just cements Vipers further down in the grave, and that's something they cannot afford at this stage.
Well, here's the two that will tango. Wi-Fi and Maxili, is Wi-Fi lurking downstairs. The Malusi could be dangerous to the Nook, and Maxile will be trying to get some of those depth charge nades from below, try to take out some of these players. Biologic, though, still holding on to this bathroom position, not wanting to give up on Inch, and continues to strike fear here into the Vipers' attack. Flashbangs to go on through, so an engagement potentially to take place. Bio tries to get away, but Poison to take the better of it.
And there it is. Bathroom is given on up. That can cover the stairs, but it can't cover your hard breach. So now, once again, those natural map-made doors are going to be the only way that Vipers can actually get inside of the site. Wi-Fi's kind of stuck between a rock and a hard place. He gets out of that. He's covered in oil and butter at this rate. He's able to get away, maybe do even more damage, but Poison is right there cementing his second of this round, as now Amp, covered by the bomb chassis, is just trying to be that other deterrent turrets that Vipers have to make their way through. He peeks out, takes a lot of damage in the process, but he still survives. And that's the important thing here, Mason. All of S2 are still alive. Well, BJL less so, and Amp, of course, as well joining him. So Reverse now trying to stop Vipers from getting their second round in a row. If he's able to do it, he's not. But if he was, it would have been massive. So Vipers now, they do net 2. It's what I wanted, but they can still reach that peak point of 3-3.
Vipers starting to string a couple rounds together. Exactly what I said. S2, they go up early. It might actually end up hurting them more than help them, and that's what we've started to see so far. Reverse not able to clutch it out yet again, but their defenses have looked rough, at least in these last 2 rounds. The first 3, amazing, great defenses, and even the clutch that Reverse was able to clutch up. I mean, you have to be good at defense to allow something of that nature to happen. That definitely came off of a couple Vipers mistakes, but to slide past that point, Vipers starting to fix some of those mistakes, work together and better as a team overall. Poison finding the scoreboard huge that time in that last round, finding 3 of the S2 players. And if that continues, Vipers might even find themselves even at the half, and whatever goes from there, whenever we've got an even half, some team seems to go and run away with it. And it really could be either of them.
You know what's pretty cool? Looking at Vipers, looking at kind of their score line, their kill line, everybody's even. I talked about how I didn't think that they had the roundedness that S2 might have. They're clearly proving me wrong in this situation. 4, 4, 4, 3, 3. They're really spreading the love, Mason. And that is good, because if somebody like Creators or Maxley can't do it in this map, at least somebody else will be able to pick up the mantle. Drinks, I mean, he's not having like an explosive game like somebody like Reverse, but he is doing a good job. He's starting off a lot of these rounds, getting information, and so far he's got that 1 KD. I think he's doing, it feels like he's keeping that consistency that Vipers will need.
Being able to keep pace with your teammates is always going to be more beneficial than not, and that's exactly what Drix has been able to do. Get away and rid of some of those first day shakes and maybe settle down a little bit more comfortable. S2, though, to call back the troops much earlier than before. They're not fighting for lives or for anything really as of much, not even a drone to be lost of it, just time, and that's all that we've seen get expelled so far. A Lion Scan and maybe an Aruni Gate to be brought down, but again, plenty of time left here for Vipers, but will they translate this attack into a good execute?
Hey, we always got to take like a 2-minute pause with Vipers a lot of times. You got to wait it out and then see what they're going to do, because that's just the amount of time it takes to set up. Reverse definitely heard that repel. He can't really do anything about it, but he knows that, yes, there are players over by this balcony, hoping that somebody will actually join Twist, and he could net a free kill, but nobody's going to give him that satisfaction. Vipers all the way over by that trophy statuary side. They're seeming to go for that horizontal play, so they're ignoring the roamers. I mean, they have 2 so far. It is pretty positive. And now BJL just getting antsy for a kill. Vipers haven't had anybody die. BJL gets dropped wonderfully by Creators. Now they have an opening. They have time. They have everything they need. Are they actually going across the finish line here?
Crate nade coming through, and Twist will be able to pick up Amp now. So S2 falling behind here in this round. The wall muted, so that vault area will be a little bit safe, at least for now. Wi-Fi hanging out inside of there, trying to prevent the attackers from getting in. And we'll pull out the Shumika launcher, trying to stop this plant from going down. But they're just a little bit short of Poison Reverse to get the first kill of the round for S2. But the plant has gone down. The C4 to miss its position in the different plant spot from what we typically see to take place. And Twist here on the study window, tasked with trying to deal with Reverse, who will try to win out this fight. Is able to do so, actually, so brought down to low HP, but has won this engagement. 20 seconds left, though, to hop onto this diffuser, and Poison brings down Bio, putting S2 in a not so favorable position. Wi-Fi will fall, and Drix, the newest pickup for Vipers, able to clean up the last 2 members of S2, and Vipers even it out on attack.
And that is, honestly, in my eyes, a big victory for Vipers. How this entire map started out from the pinpoint round was Reverse getting the clutch. From then on, Vipers flipped a switch, and now they've been able to get 3. They get to go on their much more favored side of the defense. It may seem equal, but I think S2 have kind of dug themselves a little bit of a hole here, unable to actually get an advantage once those sides swap. They're really going to have to fight here against Vipers, who are going to feel so much more comfortable.
For some of that experience from Bio really starts to rein in, and he can seep some of his knowledge into the young bloods of S2. Getting a little bit frustrated, I would say, after going up 3-0 and now losing that entire advantage, going to 3-3. But here they are on attack. S2 have a good chance, but Vipers, their defenses are where they shine. Obviously, their attacks not being anything special, and to get 3 of those, that is all the benefit to them. S2 are going to have a tough task here to deal with them.
A tough task ahead of them for sure. I want to see how far Vipers are actually going to extend. I'm expecting, creators to maybe push all the way over by Master. We're seeing Twist on that first floor. So right now, it's just Poison inside the site. Everybody on Vipers is either defending a place outside of the site. They're defending actually over on the other place on the second floor. I don't think S2 are going to realize that. They're still going to kind of go for that same horizontal play. Meet Baxley at Trophy Statuary and Creators, who will probably help him in this situation. So it's still going to be a slow, methodical style take from the attack.
Well, here they are, the spearheads for Vipers trying to prevent the entry coming here for S2. Drix to fall back and away, but maybe get aggressive. Nope, they'll drop down the hatch, shoot a couple bullets, and what that does, for those of you who don't know, when you shoot those bullets as you're dropping down the hatch, it masks your audio, and maybe the other team won't hear you drop. Sometimes it will still sneak on through, but getting away and trying to leave less information that you have done so will waste more of the time of S2. A great realm so far from Vipers, but here is where the round really must transition.
That's something Viper struggled with, and it's one we don't see S2 struggle with as much. So the expectations are that they'll be able to, leisurely make their way to the finish line, but they haven't actually found anybody yet. The massive amount of roamers that Vipers have on their defense, S2 haven't exactly made a dent in that yet. They're still just kind of hanging outside the windows, haven't really took any control of 90, and at this point, you've reached a 60 seconds left. You're just seeing S2 push towards 90.
Wow.
Creators gets blown up by Reverse's frag grenade. That opens the vault right up, but here's the roamers. They haven't been dealt with, and now late into the round, they're going to be a problem for S2. Twist takes care of 2 players, now gets to regain control of 90. In this window, it's shut down for Bio. He cannot do anything, and right now, it's a little bit of stalemate between the 2 teams.
Vipers with the advantage in this round, no doubt about it. Reverse off the board will make things much more difficult for S2, but there's still plenty of opportunity to get some sort of execute and attack underway. Bio, don't know if they have any more utility on the Zofia to be able to flood on in, maybe concuss any of the defenders, but BJL slowly peeking around, trying to make some serious impact in this match. Poison, though, to kick it off, will bring down Amp, so they'll fall, and with that, the diffuser into the 90 hallway. Bio with the quick recovery as 20 seconds cracks on down. Poison with the Shamika launcher still out. This is the detriment. You have to choose. Do you want the gun? Do you want the launcher? And BGL has already walked past that fire and now has sight control, but where is Bio? They're not with their teammate. BGL tries to take the swing around, has to whip out the pistol. Will they be able to get on through? The Zofia to go through, but Vipers actually to take out the round. Each of the last 2 players finding one of the last 2 attackers. Poison with the LMG letting it sing, and it's perfect in that situation when anyone's walking at you just to keep letting them rip, and Vipers will take 4th round in a row.
4 in a row. And it wasn't the style of attack that S2 definitely struggled with, but they had a little bit of problems that I think Vipers did. It was more about the inability to probably deal with certain players like Twist on the roam. He made sure that basically any study take was absolutely dead on arrival. He was able to take control of study. That was another area that S2 then had to deal with. It's going to be a different story when you come over to this side because Astro is that main extension area. I'm probably expecting S2 to come from that southern side, from the Aviator Games area, because, I mean, we saw them come from Master side, so why wouldn't they just do that from the same side?
We'll see what happens. S2, it's their first time attacking Trophy Statuary. I think they're going to be a little bit again, across the map, I don't think they want to go super direct for their take. So we'll see how that all pans out. Vipers, though, in the driver's seat, 4 rounds in a row, definitely have the momentum. And here's where some of the confidence begins to bode well. You see Twist has torn down the 90 window, maybe looking to hop out. Will do so. Will they land the shots? No, they actually missed. They have to tear down the barricade. Can they get back inside? Yes, just barely. So at that, wasting a little bit of time, a couple of your bullets in your backpack, but nothing more to come of it.
Oh, the hair of his chinny chin. I mean, you heard the bullets. They were firing behind him, and honestly, about a second longer outside, Twist would have been a dead man. But he survives, he thrives, he continues to walk around inside the map and try to make sure that S2 doesn't have any bit of a good time. Drix has been spotted with the drone and backs up a little bit. You can hear the frag grenade go over to his left. He peeks, takes out Wi-Fi, easy as pie, and now looks to take care of that second player who's hanging over by that study area. They've rotated back all the way over, barely missing the head of Amp. If he had taken out that ace, that might have been the round right there, but so far the hard breach, the support of Amp survives for now.
Drix and Poison leading the charge here with the opening frag yet again for Vipers, continuing to hold that narrative true, but the fallback comes on through. Twist to rotate all the way around, and we're more than likely go be annoying somewhere else anywhere on the map. Bio still on this 90 rappel, has yet to find any frags from it. Drix off to the red stairs to continue to prevent S2 from getting anywhere near the bomb site.
All right, so Vipers, they've dropped 1 round on the defense so far in this tournament. If that stays, that would be a big statement on how one-sided this team is, but it would also be a statement of just how strong their defense is. They have a possibility to put up 5 rounds in this game. Drix still hasn't been dealt with. Everybody else on Vipers needs to be dealt with. Maxley is going to be that first player, so now S2 don't really have to worry about any more magnets. It's really just the actual players, the real scourge of the round.
50 seconds here left in the round. 1 player on the main balcony, or the master balcony rather, trying to take the fight, but it's Amp who will actually end up losing it. They've been down but not out. Twist to finish him up. Reverse still on the board will bring down Creators, so things even back out yet again. A couple of smoke grenades go through. A trade. Drix actually to win it out though, so they'll still be alive and at least be a human drone. 30 seconds left in the round, trying to make their way on in. Poison been detected by the Lions. Again, Bio to walk on and win out the gunfight. BGL will take down Drix and finish them off, so it's left down to Twist, but both the attackers have split themselves thin across both bomb sites. Twist position now alerted to here by the Zofia. Bio very well aware of where they are. BGL to take a little bit of damage, but begins to get that diffuser down. It's off to Bio, try to get the coverage, but BGL too far away and shoot a little bit, but Twist not able to finish him out. Panics and pulls out the pistol, not able to get it. BGL off the plant, nearly a disaster for S2 as BGL planning out in the open almost punished them, but not enough ammo in the MP5. It ends up proving better for S2 as they even us back out.
I'm sorry, did he want to tickle the lion? Like, what? Was it the fact that the crosshair was gone? If Twist takes out BJL, he's able to get back in bedroom. I think that's the round. I still am confounded by the fact that he had the clear shot on the line, shoots at him, does damage, and then just goes, that's enough damage. I don't need to do any more. Doesn't wait for the confirm, nothing. It's tied up. Now, a round that really should have been in Viper's grasp. They have to walk back, go potentially to the same side, or go down to kitchen and deal with the fact that, well, they have to find some other round to get themselves out of this tie, because now that's another round that they've let on the defense. It shows that they are not an impenetrable wall. And what will S2 bring that will really remedy the problems that they're having in kind of that early stage of the round?
S2, I mean, wow. I don't know how they came back in that round. They just cracked on in perfectly. Reverse brought down Drix, and I feel like, you know, Drix, for someone who got a little bit of flack, a little bit of hate yesterday, really coming out of their shell and showing off today why they deserve to be on this roster. Good for him, because he's doing it, and he's definitely making an impact. Reverse, you know, being dropped in that late round made it very winnable for Vipers. They just fell a little bit too short, and honestly, that clutch situation, that is so frustrating. Did just no damage. The MP5, obviously one of those guns that doesn't do a lot of damage. It does damage, it'll kill, but it takes a little bit, and it takes more than 2 bullets, which were thrown helplessly into the rear of the Lion, and things not panning out too well. Maybe a little bit worried too much was Twist of the coverage from Bio, the Zofia, who was 1 HP across the map, but Bio was kind of nowhere to be seen. A very weird round, especially translating into that end round action, but somehow S2 come out with it.
I think the one thing about that round is it really stops the flow that Vipers had. They had won 4 rounds in a row. They seemed to kind of be on this momentum that they were climbing that might inevitably lead to the actual victory of the map. But then this round comes in and it just grinds that to a halt. You're now at equal footing. That momentous roll that you were on is gone. And so now S2, they can kind of make their way towards this kitchen site with a little bit of high hopes. I know that they're going to be bringing, like, you got the Nook, you got the Twitch. There isn't a sledge on the board, which is somewhat surprising. I'm glad Wi-Fi is bringing it out because it feels like a given how vertical this site actually is. So I really, the main goal of this round, it's dealing with those roamers. With how vertical heavy, you need to make sure that you clear up master bedroom and make it your own.
We'll be curious to see how things go out here in the master bedroom. Vipers not being successful on the floor above, but go to the floor below, and I think that's a smart play for them. I think that Vipers are a team that strives well on the defense, and they can really defend any site that they want. They like to spend their time wasting as much of the attacker time as possible, and that going here allows them to do more of that, because you can fall away, you can leave the bomb site, or at least the top floor, because most teams will elect to take it. As you see, Reverse already made their way up to the master balcony, and if you have more room to give away, it just means more time to waste, and that's what Vipers excel at.
The pause before the storm is right now S2 just setting themselves up for a pretty usual take. It's just you've got Maxley up on that second floor, Twist, Creators. It's a lot of
No one's at the bomb site.
Designated role. I think you did have Drix, who's actually kind of around their poison as well, but Reverse just went for a little hop in, hop out. He is gone. Twist saw him, but Wi-Fi just immediately right around the corner rips Twist's own head off. So a big advantage on both sides. You take down Reverse, who's 12-6, but then you also take down Twist, who is one of the top fraggers on Vipers. So, I mean, an eye for an eye in that situation.
I'm trading anyone out, though. I definitely want that kill in Reverse. It's exactly what happened. Most likely wasn't expecting that Ella Grismont mine to actually pop off. I think that play would have worked out, but that Grismont would have do, it'll slow you down a little bit, and that's exactly what happened. It disorients you. It might slow you down a little bit. That's exactly what happens to Reverse, is Bio will come to the effects of the Grismont as well. Vipers completely abandon the top floor, and this is what they do. They go roam for a little bit, get their pick, and then they leave. But guess who's still not left yet? Maxilli made their way back around. They've traded control and now are in control of the Aviator games. The C4 pre-place might be able to find someone, but with a minute boiling down, vertical destruction underway aplenty, and it's on to S2 to make the next move.
One of the things, if they acquiesce this site, they don't have a pulse, so they just kind of have to actually go for these gunfights head on without any real knowledge, and you're going to see it's going to lead to people's deaths, like Creators. So Maxley has to make his way towards these other players of S2, make a difference, kind of blind here, Mason, and you can tell that S2 are ready for him. The Z-Pings come through, he just escapes down the stairs, and Wi-Fi's waiting right around the corner. S2, 1 kill away from regaining the lead that they once had, but Drix, he's got a lot of kills to his names, and he does have a good amount of mag size in that AUG A2. He fires some shots away, but that gives away his position. He can't even find the one onto BJL, so S2, they put 2 in a row. They get close to map and match point.
S2, 2 rounds in a row for them now, is the momentum swapping yet again. Vipers now looking in the back foot. They get to go back to Aviator Games, the site that they won previously, and maybe they'll be able to do something better with it. It's their only they've won so far, and they look to continue to do that. I really hope that they will. This has been a really close match so far. These rounds boil down to just last moment things or one thing goes wrong for one team. And what's going wrong right now is Vipers, their flanks. They tried to get that flank up the red stairs 2 times. They had 2 players walking up the red stairs and plenty of information left by S2. Well done to them by making sure that they had the flank launch in play. And whoever was sitting on those cameras doing a damn good job of making sure Vipers was not getting that retake up the red stairs.
Yeah, and that's something great from S2. You have these passive drones you're able to use, and it just benefits you greatly in the round. That can honestly be the difference between a victory and a loss, is how you use your drones when you're not actively shooting for information. You need to have map knowledge to know where potential roamers could flank from. You need to have, good drone usage to make sure it doesn't get shot out. Make sure you don't get, wide open, that it's just in the middle of landing. So we'll see if S2's drones continue to just really be a thorn in the side of Vipers, as I wonder if Solus is going to be used next season, because it's going to make those drones, which are just kind of hiding, those really are going to be a thing in the past when Solus is in play, I think.
It's going to be a lot more difficult to be able to spot those drones, that's for sure. Now, when the gadget is off, or when the drone is off, rather, I believe it's not spottable, but anytime someone's on it, it will be. So definitely one way to deal with a lot of those drones and more flanks to become of the future. But Viper's not able to take care and take advantage of that luxury as of right now. Drix, though, trying to be aggressive here on the player in the bathroom. Bio will actually get down, try to jump in behind. Great coverage there from the 2 anchor players of Poison and Creators, able to bring down the Zofia. So man advantage in the hands of Vipers, and S2 looking a little bit too far back.
Well, any time that Vipers have gotten advantage, S2's kind of been right there to refrag it. I mean, the last 2 rounds, the ones that S2 have won, guess who got that opening pick? It was Vipers. Wi-Fi went down, Reverse went down. Now it's Biologic. They're kind of going through the ringer, hoping that eventually one player will make the difference between victory and defeat, but there wasn't a refrag from S2, and that could be the thing. As Vipers now, they still have C4s that they're going to be able to throw up. Creators over by the vault still has his C4. Actually, no, Creators doesn't have a C4. He had that barbed wire, so Poison's Plantanon could be that main thing. He's going to start to fire it away. It's really going to be right in that doorway. It means that S2 cannot move forward as long as Poison continues to light that entryway up. Now Amp doesn't go actually to default. He goes straight to the bomb chassis, starts to put it down, and the default cannot be covered by the Shumika launcher, but there's Creators in the vault, and he takes out Reverse, trying to run straight for him in the vault. So S2, on paper, they had everything they needed, but with an explosive finish, there is Vipers. They come right on back, and we're getting max regulation rounds.
Well, Vipers with a great response, really piggybacking off of the Kaid play from Creators. And wow. S2 tried to hit the bomb site. I think it was the right play too. They definitely needed to hit the bomb site in that moment, but it was the plant spot from Amp, which just landed them a little bit too short. There's no coverage that you can have from the vault without steady control, and that's what S2 lacks. Not checking off that page of the notebook. The grocery list not entirely accomplished, and it fell short for S2 in their execute. Their roam clear worked out pretty decently, although they lost 1 body early on. Things were still looking on the up. Vipers, though, taking the advantage. Poison, the effectiveness of the Tachanka really showing there, is it made a difference in the plant spot and the final essence of the round, really.
Yeah, that final third is what's been the difference for a lot of these teams. Vipers struggled with it. S2 haven't nailed the mark on some of these rounds. They've been a lot more consistent than somebody like Vipers, but they're still not all the way in which you could rely on them for most of these rounds. We'll have to see which kind of final third comes to the foreground in this one. Is it going to be S2 taking Vipers off the map, getting these early kills, or is it going to be Vipers just kind of getting in a quick stab, running back away, and eventually reaping the rewards that they put in?
More aggression from Vipers. You see them always near these windows at the beginning of the rounds. They love doing this because if you punch a window, you shoot a couple bullets at it, do something to be annoying, you're wasting time, because S2, if there's a member anywhere near, they're going to go take a look. They're going to go crack and make sure that, hey, someone's not there, someone's not trying to kill me, and it slows them down. It's very effective strategy. Even if it's just a couple seconds, when it comes to the late round and the end of the round, that it could be massive. It could be the entire difference between double zeros and having to stick a plant and not sticking a plant and being able to get off and go get this sword.
Master being assaulted by S2. You can see that Vipers kind of have their main roamers dedicated towards this Aviator Games hold, but there really isn't anybody from S2. I mean, Wi-Fi's on the first floor, but Drix, he's kind of all alone. I think Wi-Fi could really sneak on up, use that HEL scanner,
oh, no.
But it's just this Master take that's really going to be the problem. I think one of them might have been a Frostplate. Poison still found one in the window. He gets another from Biologic. He's hungry for more, almost gets the fourth, but he's done more than enough in this round. He's taking down 3 members of S2. It's only BJL and Wi-Fi standing between Vipers and match point.
That's why you can't jump into the closet like that. There's no point when the triple wall is open. It's almost death certain. If you're going to try to take the gunfight while doing it, well, you got to make sure you account for the frost mods that are below your feet. That's exactly why Poison was able to get that kill. He's found 3 on the round. Will he be able to find a 4th? Yes, he does. Can Mr. P start off with an ace? We could see it here to send their team on to match point. Wi-Fi, the last player. I'm sure Poison is screaming, let me get this ace. Let me get this ace. Wi-Fi, though, will prevent a flawless round from occurring, bringing down creators. So not perfect for Vipers, but definitely a round win, almost certain.
Yeah, you're in too deep to just acquiesce a free kill just to give Poison this. He's already got 4. He's definitely buffed his stats, but Wi-Fi's honestly a dead man at this point. Maxily will peek. It isn't the ace, unfortunately, but it is still Vipers very handily winning this round. So now 6-5. That's 2 in a row for Vipers. We've seen kind of alternating streaks from these two teams. S2 gets 2, Vipers gets 2, but S2 need to immediately put an end to that. Otherwise, they are going 1-1, and really, they got to face one of those teams that we've maybe already seen win tonight.
Well, V, we're the only team so far, or only duo rather, of casters that have casted an overtime match for SCS. Now, there's not been a lot of matches, sure, but could we see it again? Because we might be the only 2 to see overtime. So if you're stuck in one of our games, you might get overtime for the night. Who knows? But S2 right now, match point, really piggybacking off Reverse, has been quieted, silenced almost in the last couple rounds that Vipers have picked up. So again, some of that impact really being shown. The rest of the squad yet to step up. A lot of them really showing negative on the scoreboard. Amp being one of those players that very good gunner, very talented, but quiet so far, at least in this beginning half of the season. Looking to see if he could be the member of S2 that sends them into overtime here against Vipers.
A lot of times it does kind of come down to individual play. I mean, Reverse still has done an amazing job. He's 12-8. It isn't, Parabellum levels like we saw, but it is still mighty impressive considering that everybody else on S2, I mean, BJL's next, he's got 8. He is still doing a lot of the work for S2. But that's the thing, is a lot of times what S2 does, it's putting a little bit of pressure onto one person to kind of make some magic happen, some entries that need to happen, maybe some key plays that need to be made. Unlike Vipers, in which it hasn't been Maxily, it hasn't been Creators, it hasn't just been Poison, it's really been the whole crew who's kind of been able to open up a lot of these rounds, make some of these plays happen, and you can look to a lot of them to really get some of this stuff done. But so far for S2, they need to get an opening kill. Like, that is step number 1. Otherwise, I think their confidence and their mental kind of gets shut right back down, and that's exactly what I fear, Mason. Maxily takes down the man. Reverse.
Vipers love dealing with those opening engagements, those one-on-ones for sure. But Wi-Fi has made his way actually into the bomb site. Whiffs the shots, though. Drix to come back through. Double digits for him on the day as we'll go and protect Poison, who has taken a little bit of damage. But Vipers lighting up the scoreboard. S2 now in a 3v5. Desperation at that. Trying to avoid a loss here in SCS.
And is this it? Are we looking at Vipers taking over S2, going up to 2-0, maybe fighting with the big boys in the end. We're going to have to wait a little bit longer. We got half a round left, and it is still possible for S2. BJL, Cox, Maxley looking the other way, and now it's going to be information for the rest of Vipers that, yeah, they still got to worry about a couple of these players up top, but it's still an advantage that they have. They don't have to worry just yet because, I mean, they still got Poison. They still got Drix, Creators, everybody except the one Maxley, and that is 100% manageable.
I'm not sure if Poison's starting to C4 yet, but it's definitely not in his pocket. Bio will read out the play on the twist. Drix taking a lot of damage here in vertical play, now underway here by the sledge. Bio will take a little bit of damage and a little bit of heat here from Drix, but is forced to follow back away. Amped doing the damage enough to get the kill, but has some damage done to him of his own. Creators trying to retake back on into China, will be able to do so, but cannot find the headshots onto the ace. S2 might be able to come back away with this round. Amp is stepping up for his team, will begin to get the plant down. Ace with the coverage, BGL trying to hold on. It's actually Bio from the other side. Laundry drops the hatch and will be able to bring down the last player for Vipers, who throw a 3v5, and S2 send it to OT.
It's the Vipers' curse. Unable to finish it out like they always have on the attack. It's haunting them on the other side. So we are going to overtime. Thank their lucky stars. Vipers get to start on the defense. I think that bolsters them and really sends their odds up to a level which S2 are going to have to fight. Like, yes, it has been 3-3, but I think in the levels of confidence and how Vipers actually approach overtime, I think they'll be feeling a lot better.
Amp, Bio, and BGL stepping up for the cause, stepping up for my pick rate, for my win percentage. I'm praying for you boys. So close, but still couple rounds out of reach for either of these rosters. Vipers throwing that one away, and they wish they could have that round back for sure. That was the best opportunity for them to be able to win it out, but better play is being made by S2. They took their time, and that's the calmness that comes when you have someone with the experience that at the levels that Biologic has been to, and that's exactly what they were able to take advantage of. They slowed down, they took things at their pace. Vipers threw away that advantage, and eventually it ended up netting S2 around.
Is that going to be their downfall? Is their inability to get that one round that they need? This first round is going to be pretty important because looking at our other overtime matchup, Wichita Wolves didn't lose a single round in it. They just went 2 back-to-back. Didn't really play with the idea of going another round. Drix just avoids a couple of tracers, a couple of bullets, and is clearly intending on hunting down one of these players. How long does he survive? He is running for his life, but so far he's still breathing, and there's really no utility breathing actually down his neck, so he's going to be able to survive, still haunt this S2 attack, and so is Maxley.
These teams continue to trade fourth rounds back and forth, but it's Wi-Fi this time with the opening pick, and that's huge for S2 because whenever they've gotten the opening pick, things have looked great for them. BGL will bring down Drix, so now things really looking up and up for S2. They continue to drive away this man advantage. Poison trying to be very aggressive here on the 90. Repel, it is Bio he'll be tasked to deal with.
Bio making the smart play, or at least we know that it's the smart play, avoiding the window. As Maxley makes his presence known with the sound of gunshots. I'm sorry, that seemed
what
like it was a headshot. I mean, maybe the bullets perfectly carved the outline of the Twitch, but I guess that's going to be a 0.5 moment that we're going to have to see how that one missed. But Vipers, they're going to have to find their entry in some other way. Creators is still going to peek on that balcony. And now Poison, with a minute 10 left, he has a lot of Shumika bolts still kind of in his Shumika launcher, able to use. But I don't know if he's ready for the other default that's kind of been decided, where you go to the bomb chassis, S2. They've done that a lot. And Poison now, he has a good angle. He can shoot out that Goyo canister, waste another 20 seconds that S2 really just kind of got to wait.
Plenty of fire to go through the map. S2, they might actually have to play for kills here. I don't know if it's going to go well for them if they try to get this plant down, because you have Mr. P denying the entry with the fire. S2, though, to walk on through. Wi-Fi has made their entry into study. Bio as well. 2 players on the balcony will bring down Maxilia, Creators, and Poison. The 2 anchors of the bomb site trying to hold on to things. Poison will fall. Creators will find Reverse, but will he find the 1v5? Able to down Wi-Fi in study, but still has 3 more members to fall as the diffuser gets planted. Creators taking a healthy amount of damage, is not taken into account every single player on the lobby, and BJL will close it out, sending S2 now on to match point.
I don't like it. I don't like this, Mason. That was not a good round for Vipers, and now S2 get to go to their preferred bomb site and force the Vipers to attack onto what looks like Dining Room Kitchen, but I think that we're going to head to a timeout, and what a timeout to do. I don't know if this was S2 or Vipers calling it, but it is
for sure.
Okay,
Vipers for sure, 100%.
It's still too late, though. I think it's too late. The damage kind of has already been done. If you're going to call a timeout for Vipers, I think you call it round 8. Like,
I'm shocked that they hadn't used it earlier, but I guess it's a blessing in disguise. Using it now, though, hopefully, Wasp, I believe, the coach for Vipers, will be able to make something happen for the boys over there. S2 may take a Pro League team by surprise. It may also take a Challenger League team by surprise here. In the first week of SCS, they've put themselves right into position. They're 1 round away from securing that and sealing it out. But Vipers, they've still got the dog in them. They've got the fight. And they have the bite.
S2, I mean, Reverse has had it in him, and S2 kind of needs to have him in him for the next 3 minutes, 4 minutes, and they can go home, know that they're up 2-0, and, like, this might sound bad, it would be a surprise to me. I did not expect S2 to, beat Parabellum, get here, and then beat Vipers. I think that would be a huge statement to everybody in SCS to say, like, hey, S2's here to stay. S2 can contend with some of the best. They might have to play some of the best if they win this one, but we're going to have to see. It's not over yet. Vipers still have the ability to fight this round back, take us to max overtime, and get another shot on a defense.
Certainly close here, Light Rose. I mean, close as you could ever get. Definitely, if you ask me, I don't think I would have seen S2 here in this position at the beginning of the season, but after the way they played Parabellum just a day ago and the way they're playing Vipers, on pace, if not just 1 better than them right now. Vipers, though, it's their spotlight. You've always been struggling at their attacks, but this is where you've really got to bust something out. I think that's why that timeout was called, and knowing that the attack struggles so much, it's time to go look back at the VOD earlier on into the matchup and figure out exactly what was going wrong. S2 going Aviator game, so Vipers, it's your time to shine. You've seen the site twice, can be successful.
Opening pick. Opening kill, opening death, I think could decide it from the get-go. It's done a lot of that. I mean, look at round 11. That's where Vipers won. You look at round 12. I mean, Vipers couldn't get anything done. Last round, that's where S2 got an entry kill. So it really sets the stage from the beginning. Whoever is able to get that first kill has been really able to charge forward and get such a better chance at winning their round. Reverse and Biologic underneath haven't truly been hunted yet by Vipers, but eventually they will have to be looked upon. Otherwise, you could have something like this. A C4 from underneath could be your detriment. It misses. Luckily, that's the only C4, but S2 definitely need to be just a tiny bit careful.
Well, here's the rotation now from Vipers. We've seen Twist go contend the study balcony plenty of times in the past, and here he is doing so once again. Will drone for themselves, but quickly to be eliminated. On the other side of the map, Maxili taking a little bit of damage for themselves. No nades to be used of as of yet. It's Twist actually to win out the fight on the BJL, so man advantage goes to Vipers. That relieves so much of the pressure here for the Vipers team. S2, though, still have the defense. The plant still has to go down, or the kills have to be found. Vipers still, I think, just a little bit behind.
It's just it's the calm before the storm, the eye of the hurricane right now. We are in deep. Vipers have a one-man advantage, but they had one all the way when they were on match point, and they let it drip. Amp survives a frag grenade, survives bullets, and gets out. Twist and Reverse take a little bit of a damage. The Deagle cannot hit the shots, and now that's another kill for Vipers that they can use to push forward. Wi-Fi actually unequips the Shumika launcher and tries to take one of these gunfights. He might actually be a huge burden for Vipers. Could he stay alive? He does. And with Bio over in study, things are looking iffy right here, Mason, for Vipers. They have to get inside the site, plant, and be confident in their plant. Bio could really secure this for the kill. He's just a little bit too late. Another firefight on the study balcony. 14 seconds left.
Oh my.
Bio gets one. Bio gets two. It's Max Elite Creators in the 2v1. Amp has to be taken down, or the Fuser has to be gone, and Max Elite cannot win it out. Amp gets it for S2, and just like that, they secure victory and move on to the next round of SCS.
They've taken down Parabellum, and now they take down Vipers in the most ultimate fashion. The 1v2 from Amp, Biologic making it a storybook ending. Incredible gameplay there by S2, somehow closing it out by miracle, by God's grace. I mean, incredible gameplay. It really was. I cannot believe that they were able to close it out, but here we are. Reverse had fallen off the board. Man advantage certainly with the Vipers, but it was that pivotal play by Biologic, taking down Twist early on, regaining that steady control, forcing Vipers to rotate another player to the balcony. Sophia not able to do enough about it, and Bio going huge.
And Vipers, they had it. They saw victory on the horizon, up 6-5, could not get the victory, and S2 get 3 in a row and win it out on Villa. And exciting that back and forth. We saw a lot of flaws and some mistakes from players and some teams, and a lot of strengths coming out on either side. Hero plays, of course, Reverse once again, the man of the match. He continues to be really the leader for S2 when it comes to frags. That 1v3 right here, he gets one and he takes out Max Elite. Every round counted. And Reverse right there steps up. He did, Bio did, everybody on S2 had that clutch factor in them. And now, well, they won it. They win in overtime, beat Vipers. I mean, they've taken out T1, taken out T2. What's next?
I mean, who is next? Because whoever's next, I'm scared for. This S2 team has grit, man. I mean, Light Rose, they are so damn good. S2, somehow they've really shocked so many here in SCS already, taking down Parabellum, taking down Vipers, 2 very strong rosters, and what a way to do it. Reverse really being one of those players to piggyback off of, but you cannot leave out the rest of S2. I mean, they have done an incredible job being able to support Reverse when he's not finding a score run, and that came down especially in those later rounds. Reverse really started off the match so very hot, very well. That 1v3 that you mentioned, incredible play by Reverse and kept his team in it, and that's one of the reasons why they found themselves the win tonight. But you can't discredit the rest of the supporting staff. Amp stepping up when absolutely was needed in that last 1v1. Reverse being that highlight player here, sure, but this entire team of S2 showing up when they were needed. Bio, BGL not too far behind, and Amp and Wi-Fi even. Not bad performances from any of these players.
I still want to point out, like, Drake's had an 86% KOST. I mean, that's pretty darn impressive. Overall, it was a consistent game from everybody. I mean, the disparity between Reverse and Wi-Fi, 5 kills. The disparity from Poison to Max Elite Creators, 2 kills. This was as even as a match as you could get between, honestly, these two teams. Nobody really slacked off. I mean, Wi-Fi, 0.73 as more of a support player. His Tachanka play was pivotal in key situations on that last round. He was a big reason why Biologic was actually able to get that 2v2, because these players had to run through the fire and the flames to get onto the site, which Bio was there. They were taking damage from the fire, taking damage from the bullets. everybody mattered here, and that's how you know it was an amazing match.
I mean, got about as close as you could get, blow for blow. But here is Biologic. He was on the stream just yesterday, and here he is now. Bio, getting this win under your belt. You've defeated a T1 team in Parabellum, bouncing around and coming back the next day to play Vipers. I mean, how does it feel to get this win?
Feels pretty good. It was definitely a close game. I think both teams made a lot of mistakes, but I think it's just how intense it was, even though it's just like a SCS thing, but I think both teams were playing like really hard.
Yeah, there's no slouch on the scoreboard. I mean, on either side. Sure, Amp and Wi-Fi kind of maybe a little bit lower than everyone else, but they really showed up at the end of the match. Reverse showed up big in the beginning, had that 1v3 clutch round. I mean, what about that? What about that 1v3 from Reverse?
Yeah, I think those first 3 rounds, we were flying high. I think we kind of underestimated them those first 3 rounds because we were like feeling ourselves, and then like those guys like made some adjustments, brought it back. We definitely should put a lot better like that last half of the defensive split, but I think that's just us like feeling good because we beat yesterday, and then today we go up 3-0, so we're like, oh, like we're like the best. So, and then it caught up to us.
Yeah, and that I feel like some of that comes off of on your shoulders. You're obviously a leader for this team, being an ex-pro and being even in Challenger League. How does some of that really come into feeding these guys, feeding these younger players, all of your knowledge, and what is it like to be a leader for this team?
It's we actually have this joke because I started with them because like there's a lot of gun skill with these guys. So I have a joke called like 1 round of focus. So like we were going up 3-0. I kept someone was like jokingly saying like 1 round of focus, but obviously we lost that for like the next 3 rounds because we were just like we're getting a little bit too crazy. So yeah,
I thought that was gonna happen too.
Yeah.
Like when we were talking over our pre-show in the broadcast, and I know you guys weren't watching because you were focused getting ready to play, but I was almost worried that if you guys started off down a little bit or started off like 3-0 or 2-0, it was going to be a little bit of a detriment that Vipers might spin things around on you guys, but you bounced back and since it's OT. So
no, yeah, like I mean these guys kind of rely on me because like like I said, I bring experience. So like when we were down, like I'm just saying like, yo, 1 round at a time. Even on that round that I was like pitching, like I just said like we got to get 1 more round, bring it to like OT, and then it was like a 3v5 or something. But like
yeah,
we had good drones. Amp made I don't know what Amp did, but I know he made a couple play. Twist threw that round. I don't know if you guys saw that, but Twist was actually throwing.
he was pro and master or something like that. Yeah, we caught that.
Yeah, I don't know what he was doing. I almost didn't kill him because I didn't have any bullets in my gun because like my reload bug or something. But like I saw that guy, I was like, wait, no way this guy's doing that. So got that kill. He threw that, and then Amp BJ like touched it up, and yeah, brought us to OT, and then we won. I know they were yelling at Twist for that because like that's a tilter.
That is, and I think he had another round too where he was in master and like could have downed the lion who was planting. I think it was BJL who,
I think that was
getting the
that
plant down
Drix.
And maybe it was but you were on the coverage. You were on Sophia, so you guys were on attack.
Oh, that round, yeah.
Yes.
BJ, okay, that's where like the inexperience comes in. BJ is screaming in my ear like brick. They're all screaming brick. They're not saying like where. They're just saying like brick. So like I didn't know if he like ran through the door or something. It was just a miscommunication on my part. So it looked bad on me that this guy's like on the left side of the door. But like you have to understand, there's 4 little like 18-year-olds just screaming in my ear. Not a lot of like big time voices, a bunch of like squeakers.
Right, yeah. Well, maybe they've dropped a little bit, but hey, I mean, you guys won. You guys have a chance next week to lock in 3 wins. So how important is it for you guys? You've already beat a CL team. You've already beat a pro league team. Well, what is it? What's the next step against the next team? I mean, do you guys expect to come out of this thing 3-0?
I don't know how it works, like who you play the next game, but if we have
it's all Swiss. So whoever wins, you'll play a team that's also 2-0.
But I think does it play off like round differential? I mean,
round differential
it's
as well.
Like random. So like I doubt like OG and Astralis, they have like those games. Like I think OG is gonna have like a blowout game, so Astralis will probably have a blowout game. So they'll probably play each other. So we'll probably play like I don't know, like RTV or something. A best of 3 with those guys, like that'll be pretty good. And then I think it'll be like next week, so we'll have a lot more practice with like getting like some of like the little details in. But I think a best of 3 with this team is pretty good. It actually kind of favors us because these guys can play every map, so it's just easier for me on like what I can do with them.
Yeah, well, I guess Luminosity or Wichita would most likely be one of those next matchups for you guys. But with that being said, anyone to shout out, socials, etc., anything that you want to say just to kind of get off your chest. You guys are 2-0. Maybe not everyone believed in you guys, but here you are. The floor is yours.
Just say like you guys gotta like congratulate like these youngins that I'm playing with. They're really talented. After like these SI quals we be playing and after like SCS, like I don't expect to be playing with these 4 guys again because like they're really good. I will say this to knock down their egos. I don't think they're T1 ready because of like I think it takes like a lot of confidence to play at a T1 level and be consistent. So, but they're definitely like these guys should definitely play in like T2. They're definitely good enough. Thanks for all like the people that support like S2, even though it's kind of like a hug org, but yeah, hope you guys enjoyed the games. You know, shout out to SCS for supporting this.
Yeah, well, thank you. We support you guys. You've done so far so well in this season. Predicted you guys so far correct. I actually predicted the Parabellum upset. And
wait, who predicted us to win today?
I did as well.
Okay.
It was more spread out.
What about Forceful? Is he 100%?
Forceful's prediction.
You picked Vipers? Come
no,
on, Forceful.
he picked. Well, I predicted you guys twice, so at least it makes me feel a little bit better in my heart. That means I'm the only one to predict you guys correctly twice.
Tell Forceful, so. Just know you gotta check the map bans because Poison wasn't gonna give me again with the map bans. You see, we went to Villa, so I had to give Poison back for CL. So
yeah, well, definitely. I definitely wasn't expecting Villa out of your guys' maps, but that's where it ended up, and you guys won. So congrats to you guys again. Go celebrate. You've got a day to cool off, and then next week we'll pick it back up.
Oh, shout out to Reverse's lab professor for letting him
lab
play
professor.
I told him to go to class.
Hilarious.
I told him to go to class. He was like, "No, dude, I really want to play." Like, dude, like go to class, man. It's not that not that big of a deal, you know.
Maybe it was worth it because you guys came out on top. Yeah. So. Hey, if he lost, definitely would have like been really sucky, but he got the win. He was able to get it rescheduled. School's important. School's important. Make sure you're doing school.
Hey, you're playing like $2,000 for a class. Like you gotta go, man.
Gotta go. But Bio, thanks again for stopping by. We'll turn it back over to Light Rose and I to close us out for the night. But have a good one, my friend. Yeah.
And you heard it here first. Squeaker supremacy. Bunch of little 18-year-olds got the win tonight. Bio able to corral them all together, and they continue on to 2-0. I mean, that's technically not it. We've got like one more surprise. We've got the bracket. We've got some things we could show you. Look at that. Look who's at the top. It's S2. They get to play a best of 3. If they win that, they move on. And at the bottom, you've got Lycus Empire, EQ, and Investigation File. And Viper's now the first team to be 1-1 after winning their first match. We'll see if they'll be the only team. I'm not expecting that, of course, but don't know the schedule yet. We don't know what that will be until after this round, of course, but already shaking it up. It's so exciting, shaking it all up.
Yeah, this is going to be an awesome matchup, awesome series. It's been great so far. I mean, really, this first week has been so action-packed, so much energy, crazy plays, so much Twitter stuff already blowing up the reads, the history, your searches, everything. So, Light Rose, it's been an absolute blast so far this first week. We've still got more SCS to be played, though. Friday, tomorrow. 4 matches to come of it, and every single professional team to be playing tomorrow as well. So we'll see all of that happening, and we'll see you guys all later. Thanks to everyone in the background that's been able to help us with this production today, and we'll send it off to the folks tomorrow. All right. Whoa. Up we go.